Hi everyone. So today we are going to look at how to write the abstract and conclusion sections. So the reason I've added both of these together is that they mostly have some similarities with minor differences, which we're going to look at in this lecture. So to start off an abstract, you would motivate your problem and mainly discuss what is the task you're trying to solve and what are the challenges behind the task, which would point to the specific problems. Like, for example, this task has certain challenges, so it is difficult to do it, or maybe there are some methods that currently address some of the problems, but not all of it. And you would tackle those specific problems. And then you would discuss your approach to how to solve that problem. And this would be followed by the results, which would basically discuss the metrics on different tasks and summarize the takeaways from this paper. Here's an example on how to write an abstract at the sentence level. So first, you're going to talk about the specific problem and the motivation behind the gaps in the previous methods. You're also going to talk about the possible or desired solution that can help in these cases, which would then work towards the approach that you're trying to solve or you are trying to propose in this work. After that, you would discuss the components and strengths of your methods and how good they are compared to related works, which are mainly the current best methods that are out there. And lastly, you would talk about the main takeaways. So basically here you're going to show off your method and say why it is the best and add some highlights from your results. Here's another example of an abstract which discusses the motivation, and it also talks about the gaps in the previous methods, and then it moves towards the solution and also discusses the components of the solution. After that, it ends with the results, which basically tells you the key takeaways from this paper. So this is the template for the abstract. It's similar to a few slides back that you saw. It's similar to that, but it's in a question format by which you could use it to basically answer these small questions. And then you would have something which is an abstract. So it starts off with what is the problem, motivation, and or main gap in the previous methods. And then you will also have what is the possible or desired solution. And then what is your approach towards that solution? And then you would also talk about the main components and strength of your method, which would be followed by the tasks and numbers compared to state-of-the-art methods. And at the end, you're going to have the key takeaways that would highlight why your method is good in order to solve some specific problems. Next, we're going to look at how to write the conclusion section. So basically what goes in a conclusion section is the solution introduced. Like you come up with a method for a certain task or tasks, and then what is the actual solution? Like how are you addressing the problem that you are claiming to solve? And then you also discuss the results, which you're basically the components of your method aim to solve, and also what are the strengths of these different components. And you also mentioned the broader impact it has on related or other fields, followed by future work. So this is similar to abstract, but it mainly includes what your solution motivates. So in that sense, it is different to an abstract. Here's an example where in the first part of the conclusion, you would talk about what and why do you propose your method, and what are the main components of your method, what are the results, the strengths of your method, and what does it point to for future work. Here's a template again, which is similar to the last slide, but in a question and answer format. So it start off by what is the method or solution introduced, then what are the key components, what are the results, the strengths, and what does the method or the solution point to for future work. Optionally, you could also have broader impact, discuss the limitations or the identified bias, and also efforts to reduce this bias. So that's it for this lecture. And by now, you should have a pretty good understanding on how to write the different components. And within those components, the sentences that go to form a machine learning research paper, And on the next lecture, we are going to see how to write the supplementary materials, which is basically an extension of your experiments section.